How do you do, failers? Well, I've been sitting in my Castrol tree saddle now for the past week, and I've been hunting pretty much every single day, and I spent 2 weeks of pre-running, trying out the saddle, learning the techniques and everything of it, and reading up on the Saddle Hunter forum and Saddle Hunter on Facebook. There's a lot of helpful saddle hunters out there. Well, here's a tip that I've been finding out recently, and today it really clicked on me. I'm hunting a tree today that is probably the smallest tree that I've been in so far, and it's roughly 12 inches in diameter. And with this tree, I have hip pinch. It feels like my saddle is digging into me or here in my hips. So if you ride your saddle low on your butt and blow your belt, it'll help prevent that. And if your bridge, this here is too short, it'll also create pressure, like I'm squeezing here. Well, the main tip is I'm gonna tell you is, and it finally clicked today after having a lot of pressure on my left hip here again, is make sure your saddle is below your belt. The saddle here was just nipping my belt in a belt loop. Sounds goofy, but it was actually creating pressure. And before that, I felt something that was really digging into me, and I could not, for the life of me, figure out what the heck it was. I have 3 jackets on, and every jacket has a pull cord with one of those plastic keepers on it, and never dawned on me, but my first 2 layers are like inside the saddle slightly. So depending on how I moved my hips, there's little plastic keepers on those bungee cords on my 2 inner jackets. It freaking pinched, but it was only on my left side. I don't understand why it wasn't on my right. So that's a tip for you guys. Make sure whatever you have around your belt line, including your belt, make sure it's out of the way of your saddle. Because if it's not, and you spend enough hours in the tree, you're gonna figure out it's gonna create an issue for you. And having a back band for an all-day sit. Today's my first all-day sit. And this is a band that I took off of a duffel bag and put 550 paracord here on my bridge. And it's perfect. It just takes the slightest pressure off your back. But back to the smaller diameter tree, I noticed I have more pressure in this tree than the previous trees I hunted, and that's because of the circumference of the tree. You're bound to try to get your knees in the center of the tree as you're sitting, and that actually creates more pressure. If you're on a bigger tree, your knees are more apart, they're not together. And what I mean by that is like this is where your hips are naturally. In a smaller tree, you're like, I got squirrels running. In your smaller tree, your hips are and your knees are in, so it's actually creating pressure. So what you gotta do is try to you gotta rest your knees on pretty much the outside of the tree. and make sure you have knee pads. If you don't have knee pads, it's going to be a miserable day. It's 11 o'clock now. I've been in a tree since slightly before 6 o'clock this morning, because it takes me an hour to set up this camera gear. Well, if this benefited you at all, please smash the like button. And if you have any other fellow saddle hunters out there, please share my video. It definitely helps. It might help you also. If you're not a fellow subscriber, please subscribe. Thank you, failers. Yee yee.